friends, welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video, I'm going to be working on my next story for my Summer Stories album for 2022. This is an album or a project that I'm completing in the Mochi Things notebook, which I'll have a link to this notebook down in the description box in case you're looking for where to pick one of these up. I have printed a bunch of pictures here from an evening making cookies with the kids, and that's essentially what our story is going to be today. I did pull out this vellum mixer that I'm hoping to cut out and turn into a little embellishment. This came from the Ali Edwards Week in the Life vellum pack from this year, from 2022. And then I also have a collection of stamps that I'm going to be using. I have the Ali Edwards Craft Story stamp, and then I have a couple of stamps from Futurecraft. Futurecraft is out of business, so these stamps are no longer available through their website. But just in case you have them in your stash, this one's called In the Kitchen, and this one is called Delivery Please. And then I also have this, it's like a title builder type of stamp from Ali Edwards. This was an Ali Edwards / Laura Wanzik collaboration that just helps you create connectors between different parts of your phrasing, and the Eat stamp. So I have a whole bunch of these different stamps to try using in my layout today. I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward while I get this completed, and then once I have it done, we will slow back down and close out for today. We're going to get started on this layout by first doing all of the stamping. I usually like to do the stamping first because I don't have to deal with potentially messing up and missing and getting it on a photo. It also lets me have as flat a surface as possible. So I'm going to use a combination of a couple different stamps to create my title piece here, which is going to say Baking with Mom. I took the word baking off of the stamp set from Futurecraft, and then the word with comes from the connector words there from the Ali Edwards stamp. And I also went and grabbed a alphabet stamp. It's one of the newer ones from Ali Edwards. I'll link it in the description below if it's still available. And I'm going to use that to say Mom. For the title, I wanted to use 3 different ink colors to help bring in some more color to this page, and also to help tie in the little mixer that I'm going to cut out and add to this page later. First, I'm using the Honeyman yellow ink from Ali. These are all going to be Ali inks to stamp out the word baking. Then I'm going to kind of position that word with underneath baking. I'm going to have it layer on top of both the word baking and the word mom. That's going to help me determine where to add the word mom, and I'm stamping that in the Wilmette green ink from Ali Edwards. Then the word with is going to go in between them. I'm using St. Helens because it's a grayish tone, but it also has a green undertone, which works nicely with the yellow and the green that it's going to go on top of. I stamped it one time here, and it is kind of faint. It's hard to see it. So I'm going to bring it back out again here and stamp over top of it again. This is always risky because if you don't get it in the right spot, you could end up kind of smudging up the title. So I'm going to get my head all the way in there so I can make sure I'm getting it in the right spot. And lo and behold, I got really lucky. It worked out where I stamped it in the right place, and you can see it a little bit better. I did not expect that there was going to be any room between the title and the text that I'm going to add. It turns out, though, that I squished it together enough that there's a little bit of space there. So I'm going to fill that in with another stamp. This one comes from the Futurecraft stamp there. And this one, I just stamped out the word perfection. It is a black rectangle with the words etched out, and I liked that because it gave this really bold separation between the title and the smaller text that I had printed on sticker paper. I took the backing off the sticker paper and put that down, so now I've got that journaling section is done and complete. The bottom horizontal box is also going to be an area where I'm going to add some stamping and some decoration. I don't really have any more story to tell. I mean, I probably could have come up with something to add there text-wise, but I just wanted that box to be decorative. I didn't want to add any additional journaling in there. So what I'm going to do is bring over that St. Helen ink again so we can tie in that same ink color. Plus, I like that it is on the fainter side so that whatever I place on top is going to have a little bit more of a pop. You're going to notice that first before you notice the background. Then I took my Ali Edwards craft story stamp, and there is a sentiment that says, "Making things is my jam," which I thought was ironic, I suppose, and also it just worked out nicely. It's really meant for more like crafting, making, but baking is making too. So I turned my notebook on an angle and I repeat stamped that "making things is my jam" all over that little area. I did mask it off with washi tape before stamping on there so I could make sure that the sentiment stays within the confines of that one box. I'm going to remove the washi tape then, and then we can look into adding my photos onto the layout. I have been asked to film a tutorial for how I print these photos, and I am going to do that. I'm also going to create a blog post that will give you the photo templates. I use Photoshop to print all my photos, and I print them directly from my computer. So if you are also a Photoshop or Photoshop Elements user, once I get that blog post created and the files ready to download, you'll be able to download those. So if you have this notebook as well, it should make printing the photos a lot easier. If you are using an app to print out your photos, I know that Heba talks about using Heba is my little journal here on YouTube. She talks about using PicFrame, I believe, and I would highly suggest heading her way. I'll also link her in the description to see she might have a tutorial for how she prints her photos for her Mochi Things notebook. I am not familiar with app printing, so she would be a much better resource for that than I would. All right, so we are going to go ahead and tape down all of my photos. I have some of the kids helping me bake. I have some of the cookies on top of the oven, just random photos. And I also fussy cut out the mixer from the vellum circle. Again, that vellum circle came from the Ali Edwards Week in the Life collection from this year. There's a little bit of space underneath the mixer on the green area, so I grabbed yet another stamp from the Feed Your Craft set that says freshly baked. That made a lot of sense to me, and then I will eventually add the mixer on top of that. I brought over some white matte sticker paper, and I'm using that to stamp out this little circle that says a kitchen or a culinary experience or a baking experience, or it says something like that, and it's got a whisk and a spatula on it, which I thought worked really nicely. I punched that out with my 1-inch circle punch, but it just felt a little bare in the middle of all that stamping. So I'm looking for a circle sticker label that provides a little bit of color around the outside edge of the white circle. I found this one, this yellow one from Ali Edwards. These are some really old labels that I just have a bunch of them, but I liked tying in the yellow since I had stamped with yellow on the word baking, and also the cookies have kind of a yellowish tint to them as well. To get the mixer onto the page, I'm using my Xyron sticker maker. This puts a layer of adhesive evenly onto the back of the elements, and then I will stick that down on the notebook here and call this layout completed. All right, friends, that completes my layout for today. This one was fairly simple, but with a lot of stamping, and that definitely makes me happy. That's one of the things I'm loving the most about this notebook is the encouragement to get into my really big stash of stamps and use a bunch of them each and every time I tell a story. I hope you enjoyed seeing this one come together. If you did, I would love a thumbs up on this video down below, and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you can check out all of my future crafty videos. I will be back later this week with some additional process videos. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, friends.